Okay, now you're going.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
I'll call the January 24th East Cocalico Township Supervisor meeting to order. Will everybody please rise and pledge allegiance to the flag? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please silence your cell phones if you have them with you. Thank you. We had an executive session this morning for contractual and personnel issues from 6 to 10:30. Not 6, I mean 9. 9 to 10:30.
You said 7?
Huh?
You didn't even out of bed that time.
Yeah, it was. Okay, approval of minutes. First minutes are the board meeting December 20th, 2018. Any additions or corrections to those minutes as presented?
I make a motion the minutes be approved as presented.
I'll second the motion. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed no. Motion carried. Next minutes are the minutes for the January 7th organizational meeting. Any additions or corrections to those minutes?
Again, I make a motion those minutes be approved as presented.
I'll second the motion. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed no. Motion carried. Thank you. Police Department, Chief.
Thank you very much. I'll make it brief. A number of things went on in the month of December. The toy drive took over 1,000 toys to various hospitals. General Reading, Children's Hospital, Shriners in Philadelphia, for the community, St. Mary's Women's Shelter, and the Ronald McDonald House. So I have to say thank you to Soul for his efforts on that, and everyone else in the department also, and the citizens for bringing in all those toys.
That you be commended for that. Appreciate it.
Corporal Sizer has been fully trained on the new speed board and has been put up on a couple of roadways. I have one of them included in my report, the details out of that. Eric Fisher completed his school resource officer training. It was the week of January 14th through the 18th, and the nice thing about that is we learned that the $495 was going to be covered by a federal grant, so we didn't have to pay that out of our training budget. So I was happy about that. Corporal Savage is testing a new brand of radio for Lancaster Countywide Communication, basically just to see how it works up here, because we've had issues in the past. Things have been going well, and he said it's working well, but they asked us to test one of them, so he did. There were 577 calls for service in December in East, 183 in Denver. Total for the year for East was 8,512. For Denver, it was 2,547, totaling 11,059. Cases generated were 3,919. All the other numbers are included in my report. I did spoke to Officer Fisher today. Sergeant Prode and I stopped out and spoke to him in his office at the high school. Talked about different things going on. He sent me his report this afternoon. That's why it's printed out and everyone has a copy. So basically from the 2nd of January when it started until the 24th, and this isn't including everything, but he did 13 different things. I would say a good 8 to 10 of them were helped with the ability not to have the patrol sector car, having to go to the schools and deal with stuff. So far so good. I've heard positive things from the school district, and so keep going as we are.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Yep. Thank you, Chief. Any questions,
Chief, is he gonna do like a weekly report or a bi-weekly or a monthly or?
I think he's going to try and do them monthly.
You don't wanna, just gonna say something that you can, down the road, you can compare notes.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to
Okay.
see, how many calls he dealt with.
Sure.
And he's not going to be able to put everything in the report, but
Right.
it'll definitely help to judge how things are going.
Very good, thank you.
Any other questions of the Chief? Okay, thank you, Chief. Zoning officer, Tony.
Yes, good evening, everybody. You should have a copy of my report. I will keep it brief also. As you can see, December is normally quiet, but it was a busy month. 25 applications, 25 permits issued, 14 review, 15 pickup. 6 single-family dwelling units in that month alone. False alarms, we had 12. Under the zoning hearing board, we had 2 cases. The Cocalico case requesting a variance that was granted. And we have one that's continued to February. It was Oucher Family Limited Partnership. That's the old Triple B Farms property over there on West Church. And I have an additional case for February. Reinhold's Property LP, that's the Sturdy-Built gentleman who owns Sturdy-Built Manufacturing. He purchased the old Warren Kaiser construction building, and they want to do some renovations and some additions to that building, making it part of the Sturdy-Built family. That company is growing like we like to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Rather than get into all of the other items that we did, I did include in my packet at the back end, we've got some year-to-date numbers for the year of 2018 as well as 17 and 16 comparison. I'll just skip to that. In the back there, you'll see the 4 major developments we have in process in the township: Morganshire, Stony Point, Heatherwoods, and Wabash Landing. And it gives you the numbers of units that we've done over the years, broke it down. And as you can see, the total for the year 2018 was 57, which was more than double what we did in the previous year. Total so far over the last 3 years, 105 new single-family dwellings, which is promising to see. The second sheet that you'll see with a little bit of color on it really gives a good breakdown. And Arlene in my office, we discussed this initiative, run this off for you to give you some of the revenues we've taken in the township with residential development, commercial, and then a total of all of them. So as you can see, between 2016, 17, and 18 in residential, we more than doubled the residential gross value of homes this past year over 2017. Commercial also is slightly less than what we did in 2017. But if you look at the total value, the total numbers over in the red column, you'll see we were only about $2 million less than we did last year, which is still very, very good. Over $50,964,000 in total development.
The value.
The value, value of all these projects. People that are making it known they want to be in East Cocalico. And then looking down at false alarms and the other items, zoning hearing board, we were down a few cases, which is good to see because they're getting information from my office rather than sending them over to the zoning hearing board. And false alarms are down 15, 20 units, and then also with certificates of occupancy. But as you can see, we had a very good year, breaking some of our records, and we hope that 2019 will be even better. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Anybody have any questions for Tony?
Well, 2017 also was the UGI building, right?
Correct.
That was the spike of 2017.
That's exactly right, Scott. Yes.
Because when you look at 2018, it's actually a lot more balanced.
Correct. And now with 2019, with the projected guard frame alignment and the members first bank going in, that'll help.
The true
Denver.
Was that was last year?
That was last year.
That was last year.
Yeah, Scott made a good point. The UGI building was back in 2016, 17.
Any questions of the zoning officer? No? Okay, thank you, Tony.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Treasurer's report, list of bills. And we have plenty of them.
Yeah, plenty of them. Okay. You've got a total general fund of $287,181.55. Got a total state fund of $15,364.24. Total lake fund of $13,949.13. And a total hydrant fund of $14,670. Questions?
I'll make a motion that the bills be paid as presented.
I'll second same.
Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Land planning.
Mr. Shapiro, Clay Brown, for tonight.
Thank you.
You have three minor actions on your agenda tonight. The first one is the Mount Zion final plans, just a time extension. For that one, their biggest holdups right now are just getting the review comments from the authority as well as their MPDS. So that's, the project's progressing. So they are requesting a 90-day time extension. The motion is to accept the 90-day time extension offer as submitted by the applicant's consultant dated January 17, 2019, which will extend the deadline for action on the Mount Zion Baptist Church final land development plan until April 25th, 2019.
Anybody here representing that plan? No. I'll make that motion.
I'll second the same.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next one is for the Jared Reed Stormwater Management Plan, and this is simply an escrow reduction. And the motion is to authorize a $55,682.61 reduction in the current financial security being held by the township for Jared Weaver Stormwater Management Plan, resulting in the remaining financial security being reduced to $22,491.07.
Anybody here representing that plan?
I'd make that motion.
I'll second. Any comments or questions?
What's
All
the
in favor?
address, what's the address of that facility, on that project?
Actually, I don't have the address.
I believe we took a Jared Weaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
2595 Bowmansville Road.
Yeah,
It's the old,
No, how far?
Bowman Hat Company sold a 20-some-odd acre piece of property back behind the Bowman Hat in Adamstown. And it's in our township, and this gentleman purchased it and put a single-family home on it.
Okay, gotcha, yep.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Last one is the Grinder Stormwater Management Plan, and this is simply to release the remaining funds from that financial security. The motion is to authorize the release of the remaining financial security being held by the township related to the Grinder Stormwater Management Plan in the amount of $2,000.
Anybody here representing that plan? I'll make that motion.
I will second same.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Just a comment for the audience, that is the 580 Hill Road residence that was installed up there not long ago.
Okay, resolution 2019-04.
This is the county had updated their hazard mitigation plan. Most of the municipalities in the county have chosen to adopt the county plan as their municipal plan versus trying to create one for themselves, which takes a lot of time and effort and usually results in a plan that's inferior to what the county plan is. So the resolution is a resolution of the Township of East Cocalico Township, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, adopting the Lancaster County Hazard Mitigation Plan. And the motion is to adopt resolution 2019-04, Lancaster County Hazard Mitigation Plan.
I'll make that motion.
I will second same.
Any comments or questions on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you, Scott. Snow emergency declaration for
So
Jen.
this one I will explain a little bit. The governor last Friday issued a statewide declaration, emergency declaration for the snowstorm that was coming Saturday, Sunday. And while other areas of the state did get hit, we actually had most of our snow get washed away with Sunday's rain. But as a preemption, we did have a phone conversation where you guys declared a disaster emergency, which I always recommend to occur when one of those events occur when the governor declares a disaster emergency, just in case state funding does ultimately become possible. There is a possibility there will be some state funding, even though our area did not get hit. The Bradford County area, the Lycoming County area did get over a foot of snow. So we'll see if monies become available, but since we did do a phone vote for our emergency declaration, I need us to acknowledge that motion tonight for that emergency vote. So the motion is East Cocalico Township declares an official snow emergency on January 19, 2019, effective immediately until the full completion of all snow removal activities. So it's just acknowledgement of your vote that night, and that was the motion.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, 2019 hauler license agreements for public service, JBS hauling, Eagle disposal, and what was it?
The fourth one just got dropped off at 4 o'clock today, it's Purple Heart. So we thought it would be good just to add that to the agenda. That's the last minute act, that you have all 4 of those agreements in your packet. And it is a very simple motion, and the motion is to approve the 2019 haulers agreements for public service, JBS hauling, Eagle disposal, and Purple Heart.
I would make a motion that we adopt this motion and allow these haulers to function in our township.
I'll second the motion. Any comments or questions?
Are those the only 4?
No, the rest were all approved at the last
That's
minute.
what I thought, okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, new business to discuss rental ordinance.
Mr. Brubaker is not here, so I ask that you table it.
That's good.
Sounds good. Okay, public comment for non-agenda items. The person please sign in and give your name before you talk. Any public comment?
I have,
Yes.
I don't live in the township, but it has to do with your transfer station. I was hoping you all would let me speak.
Yes.
Okay. Are you the press?
I am, thank you.
I'm it. There you go. I got 3 others, so does that cover you supervisors?
And what is your name, please?
I'm good. I'm a terrible public speaker though, so I apologize. I'm good at reading documents. Good evening. My name is Leslie Osborne. I live at 109 Oak Road, Conestoga, PA, Manor Township, Lancaster County. I live near the Fry Farm landfill in Manor Township. The Fry Farm landfill is the final location of the waste handled by the Lancaster County Solid Waste Management Authority. Approximately 30% of the waste buried at the Fry Farm landfill is generated outside of Lancaster County. I'm here to give you some unsolicited advice about dealing with the Solid Waste Management Authority. Insist on reading a copy of the DEP permit application for the transfer station before you sign the host fee agreement. Do not trust the Lancaster County Waste Management Authority. Do not sell your township short when you negotiate for your transfer station host fee. Obtain legal counsel from outside Lancaster County. My first experience with Lancaster County Solid Waste Management Authority was when I opened the newspaper in 2000 and found out that many of my neighbors' homes had been rezoned to excavation during secret negotiations between Loxwama, Representative Barley, and Manor Township. Loxwama has projected a $72 million surplus for 2018. Mr. Zorbal, the new CEO, is a very nice man, but beware of the men behind the curtain. Don't let Jim Warner and Alex Henderson bully you into a weak host fee deal. Don't think Mr. Warner will not be involved just because he just retired. The authority just hired him back as a consultant this month. In 2014, they misled the manor supervisors into thinking they were receiving more money. However, at 1,500 tons per day, a number that they were nearly hitting at the time, Manor would actually be receiving no more money than the old agreement would have paid. Loxwama failed to mention that the permit application that they were going to file the next day was asking for an increase in tonnages from 1,500 to 2,500 tons per day. The Manor supervisors went against the recommendations of the Manor Planning Commission as well as the Lancaster County Planning Commission and allowed Loxwama to completely rewrite the excavation zoning. Now Manor has no say in Loxwama's ever-changing operations. Lancaster newspaper stated in October that the new project is to alleviate vehicle congestion and reduce waste volumes at the main transfer station. It is not to allow out-of-county waste to come to Lancaster County, said spokeswoman Katie Sando. Your location is extremely convenient to I-76. Several years ago, Loxwama put up bids to Frederick County, Maryland and Allentown to import their garbage to the incinerators. Luckily, they were not awarded the bids. They'll tell you that local growth has crowded out the spot waste at the incinerators since those bids were made. However, Loxwama has already started saving to rebuild the Conway incinerator. I have been told that they do not intend to build a larger incinerator in Conway. I do not believe that they would rebuild the incinerator and not make it larger. The $11 million ash recycling plant is just coming online at the Fry Farm landfill. Their current agreement is only for Conway and Harrisburg ash. However, NASHCO's permit, NASHCO is permitted to run 24/7 and the DEP permit only says municipal ash. It does not limit Whose municipal ash? Havana has 3 ash plants east of here. Would you be satisfied with running an $11 million plant at 50% capacity if you could economically import more ash? Mr. Warner will tell you that Las Palmas' agreement is only for their ash. However, they amended the compensation and ash delivery agreement even before the ash plant went online. How can we be sure that they will not amend and allow outside ash? Watch their waste definitions carefully. Municipal solid waste, garbage, residual, C&D, and ash. Las Palmas is currently trying to shore up the more lucrative residual waste market, which comes from all over Pennsylvania and surrounding states. I would recommend you make sure your host fee agreement allows monetary increases if they change waste types, amounts, and county of origin. You should ask for higher fees for out-of-county residual waste. Please feel free to contact me if you want more documentation or have any questions. I have been practicing veterinary medicine in Lancaster County since 1989, and I have an excellent reputation for being very straightforward and honest. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yes, Mr. Fry, about a month ago at the last, the December supervisor meeting, there were several of us, I think, left with more questions than answers when it came to the rain tax not being implemented. Is the plan going forward now to go ahead with the MS4 spending as was budgeted, or what is your thoughts on that?
We're still looking at all the angles. So we cannot do a tax, but we can do a fee this year yet. So we were told that we didn't need to do anything, so we're doing more background study.
So it's up in the air at this point?
Yes.
Yeah, we were indicated by outside sources outside of this room that we don't need to do anything, so we're looking at
Yeah,
it. We'll let the chips fall where they might.
but we can still do a fee this year
That's right.
if we have to.
At what point would that be?
We don't know, Jeff.
No, I wouldn't say, couldn't say yet.
I think he already told you that.
Yeah.
So we'll be following up with that in the future.
Yes, definitely, we will follow up on that.
We've heard nothing, I guess, since the pool closed too, about this next year and what plans there are to be implemented. Is the working group still in place, Mr. Russell, or how?
Yeah, they just haven't met yet.
Okay, so that's.
This is January.
Yeah.
We hadn't even reached Valentine's Day yet.
Yeah, so, but,
Well, I was just thinking back a year ago, there had been quite a few meetings and some plans had been
yeah,
put
they were
in
later,
place.
they were later
Later in the year.
They'll be coming again.
So, is there something on the schedule then for that to happen, or?
Not yet, no.
But it will be coming.
It will be coming, yes. The previous lifeguards got letters really inviting them to come back, but that's all that's been done so far.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other public comment? Okay, measures report.
Yes, Mr. Chair, let me just pull up here.
I'm sorry, I jumped you.
Just 5 items to report. The first one is an MS4 update. The Cocalico Source Water Group met to discuss the Cocalico Creek Ag Community event that will be combined with the Lancaster Stormwater Partners Ag Community event to be held at Shady Maples in December of 2019. We're in the early stages of talking about it. It's being led by the Effort Authority. And that's what I pulled up here. But they have, this is a little bit of, if you look behind me, what Lancaster did here. They had a nice outreach to the farmers that they put out there, and they had over 300 farmers at this last event. And they've invited the Cocalico region to participate in the next one. So it's working on best management practices on ag and conservation plan development. They're going to have speakers from the conservation district, Team Ag, and others that will be there to help with it. It is a follow-up to that discussion last year where we talked about a meeting occurring, and then it was reached out and decided it might be best to group all that together. There's potentially grant monies out there which would cover the entire expenses of the whole thing. So it's a work in progress. That was just the first meeting that occurred. On Heatherwoods, there's actually a draft agreement now between Lexon and Burke's Homes, where Lexon would make a payment to the township. The township then would pass that payment on to Burke's Homes, who would then have Able come out and complete the work. The only thing we need to do is now get the work verified. We start waiting to get Able's cost estimate, and then going out to the field and going field mark out to verify that what is in the cost estimate is what Able actually intends to do. Upon completion of that field mark and the verification, then Able will be able to start the work most likely in the spring.
Good.
And of course, we've already been plowing the streets at this point. On the rec board side, there has been no meetings. The meetings actually for the last 2 months have been canceled because we are going anywhere from 2 to 4 Stony Point Park meetings a month right now, with the entire rec board participating in that. And I think for the month of January, we will have 5 meetings total that we've done with that group. Stony Point Park community build update, multiple meetings have been held. The main focus of those meetings has been recruitment. Over the last week, 6 new volunteers have been added, and there will be another meeting on January 31st with another 5 potential volunteers that will be at that recruitment event. Anticipate now design day will occur in April 2019. There has been coordination with the school district. The PTA for Williamstown is now involved in this, and we actually have a couple school teachers now that are part of our volunteer that recruitment drive that we've done. So we've now thoroughly gotten into the school system. Next actual full executive working group meeting will be held on February 5th. And then alert update. I did send you some emails. Individual parcel information Tony provided that. It was actually a rather exhaustive drill marking because the county assessment office wanted every single parcel by parcel number and street address that was in the alert. It's not just a zoning map from their perspective, even as far as the school district. They provide the information. I forwarded up to the county, did get anything from the county. They have not opened up where they're just questioning 2 parcels. Tony, I'll have to take a look at that. We are looking at sometime in February where the county commissioners will be discussing an ordinance to adopt, complete their part of the alert at this point, and then we will have the program going forward. We do have a draft application that was prepared by Ritu that will then probably over the next week or so start circulating that first to the school district just to get their buy-in. And then if the county does actually move forward, which I actually do anticipate will happen, then we would get the county's input on that application form too. So it is moving along. I appreciate all the work that Tony did because, like I said, that was a pretty extensive list and had to be done by hand. It wasn't any easy way to do it with the GIS.
To give credit where credit's due, Arlene spent a lot of time on that, putting that together also.
So that concludes my report.
Question, the Stony Point playground meetings, are they held here at the
Every one of them sell here.
Okay, I'd like to put that in just in case there's some other
Yeah, it would
neighbor out
be,
there.
for the paper, it would be February 5th at 7 p.m. for anybody who wants to volunteer.
Sure, thank you.
Now, if they show up to the meeting, we're looking for them to volunteer.
Absolutely.
Okay, rental ordinance. Mr. Rubager,
Moving backwards in the agenda.
we start at 7 now.
I understand that, I was at work.
Yeah.
I
I'm
told,
sorry.
I
Yeah,
told
he told me
Mr.
he was
Russell.
gonna, yeah.
Okay.
So if we can
You
move
didn't
on.
tell us that.
I mean, actually, man, he did tell me that, so that was my mistake.
Yeah. Scott had asked me to come here, but I didn't have anything to discuss.
Okay.
He just asked me to be here.
All
Okay,
right, so the
okay.
discussion is, it was left that the next step would be the board to consider authorizing the creation of a working group to review a potential rental ordinance and what it would look like to be in there. Mr. Brubaker came, I forget how long ago it was now, we did the full presentation. It was back in the fall. Yeah.
October, I believe.
So there was a presentation there, and then Mr. Mackley did go to a York training session on rental ordinances. So it is my recommendation that we consider putting a working group together, have one supervisor sit on that.
Okay.
And then we talked about, obviously, Mr. Brubaker, township manager, and then the goal would be for us three to have an initial meeting and then find two at-large people, one that would represent tenants and one that would represent landlords, both of good outstanding.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who those people are at this point.
I have a question in reference to that real quick. I just met the Denver Borough gentleman who's going to be doing some of their, I don't want to say rental ordinance, but, you know, if somebody has their grass too long or whatever, it would be code. I think. He stopped by, introduced himself. We provided them with some non-traffic citations. Are you going to talk about who is going to basically work the rental ordinance, who's going to be going out and doing the inspections and those type of things?
Eventually, yeah, that'd be at the beginning of the whole discussion. First, we don't even know what we're going to be accepting as work and what we'd be inspecting. We also have Skip Cross, our code enforcement officer and building code inspector, who's also, will at some point have involvement in helping set this way.
Just so we know, or just so there's somebody there and we know who to contact if we get a call and go out somewhere and say, hey, this needs to be checked out.
There is also a point in time where the group will reach out to you too, because there is a policing component to this. Plus, the idea is to have some teeth, possibly, because that's something we're here to talk about, in terms of an eviction process for bad tenants.
When I was doing the legwork with this, I went over to Denver Borough and spoke with their manager over there. They had hired a part-time person because I guess the enforcement officer or whatever was stepping down at that time. And one of the things that the manager, Denver manager, had said over there is, hey, look, if you guys want to work together and have their enforcement officer also come over and help us out, they were open to that.
We're trying to develop those, we have in the past developed those relationships, and we're trying to continue to foster those, because it makes no sense to have them have one and we have one, and the guy north of us has one and people east of us have another one. You know, it just doesn't make any common sense. The one thing I have to say, and I'm going to say it just so it's disclosure, I think this is a good idea. I don't want to throw oil on or water on the fire, but the meetings that were held with the business community, when I read through them, one of the biggest things that jumped out at me was that East Cocalico has too many rules and regulations and we're not user-friendly. And I'm just throwing that out there to make everybody aware that now we're suggesting that we do more ordinances to make things more unfriendly as they see it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's good, because there are those absentee landlords out there who are lousy at best of taking care of the property. And all that does is devalue the guy who lives across the street or next door to it. I mean, I understand that, but it's a thin wire we're gonna have to walk, because on one time we're loading up more rules and regulations and we've already been told there's too many here to begin with. So I'll gladly serve on this because I think it's needed, but it's one of those things that
One of the things that the borough gentleman said was just because he came to pick up citations from us, it wasn't that's his first avenue. And when I talked to him, he really indicated that he's going to be working with them and notifying. And from past experience from the police department with Denver Borough, you'd be surprised how many times the town or the borough reached out to a landlord and they had no idea.
Right.
So that, if we, get that in there and make them aware, I don't know that it's one of those things where we're stifling anything.
Right,
It's
and
just-
that's what I said.
It's a huge tool in a positive way for
Right.
us at least, so.
It's a good point to bring up, and certainly something we, as a working group, looks at things. There's a heavy-handed way and there's a
Right,
nudging along kind of way that can be written into what we do.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, education. Right. Yeah, you own the property, you need to be more vigilant about what goes on and who's there and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion?
Probably want to heard just, it is under new business, but since it's been on the agenda for so many months, I don't think it's a surprise item at this
No.
point. So maybe the motion would be to form, let me just preface here for a second. The motion would be to form a rental ordinance working group that will consist of one supervisor, township manager, called Mr. Brubaker by name, and two at-large members representing landlord and a tenant.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Brubaker, for all your
Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Sorry. I didn't know you were at work. I want to make an announcement. Our next Board of Supervisor meeting will be held February 7th at 9 a.m. here. Once a quarter, we'll be doing a morning meeting. So people that work night shift, they will come to the morning meeting. Yeah. Okay, any other business? Need a motion?
We adjourn.
I second motion to adjourn. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.
Were you the one that called earlier today?
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I didn't drive an hour and you guys not be here.
I appreciate your feedback, so.
Sure. I have a room full of documents. I'm not just making this stuff up.
I know, I figured you
I'm not,
were.
and you can see how much they spend on advertising. It's astronomical, but
Well, thank you for your feedback.
it's not the way I.
Thank you for your knowledge and your experience. I
Appreciate it.
appreciate
So, I hope you guys,
that.
because the Lancaster newspaper doesn't give us fair, because
Thanks, Tony.
Mr. Porter and the Steiner CEO are on EBC.
Well, they're very good with
Sure ones.
bringing people back, let's put it that way, as consultants. And they can
I'm talking
afford,
about the
So, good
rest.
night.
right, I know you were, but I thought, you said Jim Warner's out, but he's not out, and I understand
Well,
that.
sure, but that's why you can trust your Bob Zorbal, but you can't trust the Warner.
Right. I
If I want to throw that off, or do you want that on mine?
Yeah.
They're off the record, there are some.
You're not off the record?
Yes, yes.
There.
Yes.
But I'll do it.
Yes.
I'll tell you lots of things, that sucker off.